And, there's all this talk about the Chiefs are the villains and everybody hates the Chiefs because they win too much and all that. And I got to be honest. I don't think they're the villains. I think it's hard to hate Patrick Mahomes. So what has he done to anybody?
That's true.
He's never said a bad word about anybody. He's not a dirty play. There's nothing that you could really hate about Patrick Mahomes. Maybe the voice could be better, but there's nothing to hate. You know what I mean? Andy Reid, everybody, if you're Andy Reid, would like to sit down.
The most lovable, fun, have a beer with that guy, right?
Well, I think they would like to go to a Denny's Denny's and exchange menus with him.
Yeah, I would.
Right?
I'd have some wings with him.
I would have pancakes with him at Denny's or whatever. Kelsey, I get it. Because it's just his girlfriend is annoying.
Because pre-her, we all liked him. Pre-Taylor Swift, he was just cool, fun guy.
But now I think
he almost stole your role as honorary brother, Rob G.
Well, he had a sister.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, and the same thing with him. I get it. The Taylor Swift thing is just a fatigue.
Yep.
Because they show her a million times,
too.
and it's like, okay. He didn't just make a great play. They just have a cutaway
for
no reason.
15 a game.
But I'm going to say this, and should we hear Patrick Mahomes first talking about whether or not they're villains?
You want me to do it?
I don't think we're villains. We just play the game the right way.
All right, let's hear the real Patrick Mahomes.
It's not that easy.
Oh, wow.
Being green.
Wow.
I'm trying to be the greatest Patrick Mahomes that I can be. That's obviously a goal of anyone's, is to be the greatest of their profession. But in order to do that, you have to be the greatest that you can be every single day. And if that's on the field and the work ethic I put in, or off the field and the father and husband that I am, I'm going to try to be the greatest in that way. And whenever I'm done with football, if I leave everything out there the way that I feel like I have so far, as far as effort and mentality, I'll be happy with the results, and I'll let others talk about who the greatest is of whatever profession that is.
In red or yellow or gold.
One thing I do, I got to say I like.
What's that?
He's right. It's not for him to determine.
That's true.
When it's all done, people will decide. When guys are trying to talk, like that's what I've always had to LeBron. Oh, yeah, after we came back from 3-1, that's when I knew I was the GOAT.
Yeah.
That's not something that you should say. That's what other people will say about you. But anyway, I'm going to say that the dislike and the lack of respect for what they're on the cusp of and what they could wind up doing, which is win 3 Super Bowls in a row. No one has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Not that people haven't won championships 3 in a row because the Green Bay Packers did it. But my point is, the reason I think they don't get the love, the admiration, and the other stuff that normally would go, or the hype that we should be involved in right now, and it's just not there, it's empty, is because this is a boring football team. And what I mean by that is last year the conversation was Patrick doesn't have any receivers. They keep dropping the ball. It's not his fault. There were all these excuses on how bad the supporting cast was. And guess what? They wound up being the best team, but not until they won the Super Bowl where people said, okay, that was the best team last year. This year, they won the 15-2. Again, skin of their teeth, all the close games, right? One-score games. They don't blow anybody out. This isn't a Patrick Mahomes that threw 50 touchdowns and had the big plays, right? Mm-hmm. And all of that. And I think that's why people haven't attached themselves to this team the same way where you feel good and they're big and bold and bodacious and powerful. Yeah, we're talking about football.
I don't know what are you talking about, Rob. You was getting carried away for a minute.
But you get my point. I do think this is a boring team on the cusp of winning 3 championships.
Jade, I got to get him. Let me get him, Jade. All right. First of all, Ant, you're wrong, because single-handedly they have been the most watched team now for the last 3 seasons. And we keep trying to tell you that they may be America's new team when it comes to viewership. You know what's the most viewed game ever? It was the Chiefs and Bills a couple of weeks ago, and it peaked at 38.5 million.
Was that a good game?
The Chiefs-Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great game. Did you not watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the game.
Came down to 3 points.
Yeah, I
know. It was a great game.
I didn't think it was a great game.
And then they have been the most watched team, and you look at some of the records of the most watched the last 5-6 games of the season. It's Chiefs versus whoever, fill in the blank, is the most watched game.
That doesn't determine whether or not that's the best.
That literally does.
Team.
As far as you said, they're boring. People are watching them. Now, I will agree.
Hate watching.
I agree. You took the words. I do agree. It becomes a little bit of hate watching, but you still have to be interesting for me to hate watch and watch in general. Watch this as well, Rob Parker. Nobody in football you would rather watch. If I told you the game was within one score and it's the fourth quarter, you want to watch the Chiefs, you want to watch Patrick Mahomes every single time.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay,
Yes.
so if this is the case, where is the buzz that should be going with three-peat? You can sit here and say there's a buzz. There's no buzz. Where is the buzz if they're that? If you can't take your eyes off of them, if it's unbelievable, like, oh, my God, I got to watch every second of this. It ain't that, and that's what I'm talking about.
But
because this should be a bigger deal than it is, and it's not.
But part of it is because they've been great for so long. They've
No,
been great
it's
for
not.
so long that you're just used to the Chiefs being great. Wait a minute. Pause the great talk because we got to discuss why our boss is being dragged right now in a wagon. You worried about me being in the streets? Was Scott in them streets?
Wow.
What is going on? Man, okay, let me get back to this conversation since I got all the bosses watching. Let me continue to cook. So there is an element of fatigue in that or expectation.
Now, there's only one thing I have to say.
What is that?
Is Scott standing up in that wagon
Oh,
or
don't
not?
do him like that. Don't do him like that. Scott, when I asked for reimbursement for this trip, it wasn't me. It wasn't me, okay? Reimbursement, I still want that.
Rob Parker.
There is an element of fatigue to an extent, but also I think you're missing some of the great storylines this year and that the resurgence of the running back, right? We had Derrick Henry going crazy, Saquon Barkley going crazy, Jacobs going crazy. So we had the resurgence. We had Lamar versus Josh Allen for the MVP. Those things also add to where the storylines were. So I agree the Chiefs weren't the singular storyline, but they absolutely are still the team people want to watch, whether they love them, they hate them, or just to see what Patrick Mahomes is going to do.